Many years ago, I remember sitting in a training class listening to a woman who was an executive coach describe her typical day. I thought to myself, I want to do that. I want to be her. And thus began my journey of becoming a coach. Fast forward several years when I was walking into my coach training program for the first time, and I was so excited. I had been waiting for this moment for years, and I knew I was going to be a good coach. After all, I loved giving people advice and telling them what to do. The trainer welcomed us, told us what coaching is, and then she was very clear about what coaching was not. Coaching, she said, is not giving people advice or telling them what to do. My heart sank and my cheeks immediately turned 50 shades of red. And I thought, this is going to be a long week. The definition of coaching and I went for several rounds together in the ring, but I'm pleased to say I made it through the program and eventually the certification process. And along the way, I finally accepted the fact that coaching really isn't about telling people what to do. I think the term coaching gets thrown around rather loosely and is used to define and describe many different roles. Most brains go to a sports reference when we think about coaching, but many of us grew up with coaches who just yelled at us a lot from the sidelines. And that's definitely not the type of coaching I'm talking about. The International Coaching Federation, or ICF, which is the gold standard in coaching certification, defines professional coaching as, quote, partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. I'll say that one more time because it is a mouthful. Partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. In Laura terms, coaching is all about helping people achieve their goals, and those goals can be personal, professional, or both. A really important distinction in coaching is that it is client-driven, meaning a coaching client identifies what they want to work on and what they want to talk about. I often start my coaching conversations with, what would you like to talk about today? Or what would you like to focus on? What would be most helpful for you in the time that we have together today? And that's because this conversation is not about my goals. It's about your goals. And my job as your coach is to help you get unstuck if you're stuck, or help you clarify what it is that you want to achieve and why it matters to you, why it's so important to you. My job as a coach is to provide accountability and hold you responsible for the things that you're saying you want to accomplish and that are important to you, and to also help you get across the finish line with your goals. And what this looks and feels like is a lot of question asking and listening, not telling or advice giving, which aligns more to consulting or mentoring. And those are important and helpful skills to have as well, and important people in our life serve in those roles too. The reason athletic coaching is sometimes a difficult analogy for professional coaching is because athletic coaches are typically experts who guide and direct others based on their expertise and experience. In a professional coaching context, you are the expert of you. So it's not my job as your coach to tell you how to be you. It's my job to help you unlock and maximize your own potential. Now, don't get me wrong. Are there times that my specific expertise and skills are leveraged in discussing a certain topic? Sure. There can be some consulting and even teaching pulled into conversations that I'm having in a coaching engagement. But the majority of the conversation is mainly going to be asking powerful questions and providing deep listening to my clients. And active, deep listening is hard to come by these days. Think about it. When was the last time someone sat down and listened to you with zero agenda on their part? They weren't trying to hurry you along. They weren't interrupting you, cutting you off, finishing your sentences for you. They were just curious and engaged about what you had to say. And they weren't listening to respond or get their commentary in. Maybe they even encouraged you to keep going, to keep talking, to say even more. And also, all while not looking at an electronic device, but actually looking at you. Right? Been a while maybe since someone listened to you that way. So that's what you would find in a coaching session. And those sessions are unique and personalized to you to meet your individual needs and goals. And while being listened to and truly heard is one benefit of coaching and a very important benefit of coaching, there are many others. So just to give you an idea of what professional coaching can help people with, it can help with individuals improving their leadership, emotional intelligence, and communication skills. It can help people assimilate into a new role quicker in an organization. It can help increase self-esteem, self-confidence, improve work-life balance, increase self-awareness, develop greater resiliency, which I think we can all use, optimize team performance, increase general and overall well-being, provide greater career opportunities, and improve other transitions people make in their personal and professional life. From an organizational perspective, research from BetterUp, which is a great online coaching company, BetterUp found that organizations that employ coaching find that it empowers individuals, increases employee engagement, improves individual work performance, deepens the level of learning, and results in higher employee commitment. And in an organizational context, I will often pair coaching with other programs, which creates somewhat of an exponentially positive impact. It's kind of that whole, 1 + 1 = 4, which that always confused me when people would use that, but I get it. And that's really what you get when you pair coaching with other programs. Just to give you some ideas on where coaching might be of benefit to you as you listen to this, coaching clients often find success in career, life, leadership, and teams. Those are some of the main buckets or categories for coaching, and I'll dive into each of these a little bit deeper. Some examples of career-related goals could be people expanding their network, developing their own personal brand and career brand, making a big career shift like changing industries or companies, and developing promotable skills. So that could look like someone saying, hey, I want to get to the next level and I'm stuck. I don't know what I need to do. My manager told me this is what I need to work on, but I don't really know how to go about doing that. Or I'm not getting any feedback at all, but I want to get to the next level. Can you help me get there? Those are all examples of some career-related goals. The life goals piece, this is a big one, big bucket, and it's broad, but it could be things related to wellness, such as developing a healthier lifestyle, improving personal relationships, managing life transitions such as marriage, divorce, death, first job, losing a job, retiring, having kids, becoming an empty nester, moving, all of those big milestones and moments in life. And finally, personal fulfillment, such as finding purpose and meaning in life, which is deep, I know, but that's a lot of times what you'll find in the life coaching bucket. If you think about leadership, some examples of leadership goals and why people might use a leadership coach could be related to transitioning into a leadership role for the first time, developing a unique leadership style and brand, creating a leadership legacy, and really learning how to be a more effective leader, making sure that as a leader, you're having the type of impact that you want to have. There's also group coaching, which is super cool and really fun. And that's where everybody's getting coached at the same time in a group. And it's usually leveraged in a team context to determine how that team can function more collaboratively and with greater effectiveness. Or it's used when you have a certain group of people who all are going through a similar situation or circumstance and need to talk about a very specific topic that impacts all of them within that group or team. Some people use business coaches to help them start and grow their own business, which is also a niche within the coaching world. And honestly, I could spend the next 5 hours giving examples of what people leverage coaches for. As an example, someone told me the other day there are, I think, marriage coaches, bridal coaches. That's what it was, bridal coaches. Never heard of that. But at the end of the day, if there's a place in your life where you're feeling stuck, or an area where you think you could be more effective, or an area you want to grow in, those are all opportunities for coaching. I do want to take a moment to address some stigmas around coaching. Coaching is not about fixing broken people. It's also not a way to avoid having a difficult conversation with someone. Meaning, if you're a leader and you ask me to coach someone on your team, my job is not to deliver difficult performance feedback on your behalf. Successful coaching relationships are focused on how to go from stuck to unstuck, or from good to great. This experience is intended to be positive and transformative, and it should be positioned as a reward, not a punishment. The key to success in coaching is for the coachee, or the person being coached, to be open to learning and growth. You have to be willing to look inside yourself, to be reflective, and to be willing to talk about both your strengths and your areas for growth. I mean, you have to be willing to talk, period. But you also need to be willing to talk about your strengths and your areas for growth, and have an interest to do the self-work that's necessary in order to grow. If you're familiar with Carol Dweck's work on fixed mindset versus growth mindset, then you'll know growth mindset is required for many things, and coaching is no different. So a successful coaching relationship requires on the person being coached having a growth mindset, and the coach to have one too. If you don't identify any areas in your life in which you want or need to grow, then you're probably not open to coaching right now, or maybe it's not really at a place and time for you that it would be most beneficial. And that's okay. You just need to know that before you make a personal investment or your company makes that investment in you. And as I said, you also have to be willing to do the work. Arnold Schwarzenegger once said, "No one gets physically fit by watching me exercise," which I love. I love that quote. But think about it. You have to do the work. I will often assign homework to my clients in between sessions, and I know some of them are secretly rolling their eyes at me, but hey, I'm just there to try to help them achieve the goals they stated are important to them and they want to achieve. You have to put in the work. Those goals aren't just going to magically materialize in front of you. You have to do the work. So in order to get the most bang for your buck, you have to be willing and open to grow and to change and to do the work. And that will result in a truly transformative coaching experience for you. If you're listening to this and feel like, I like this coaching thing, I think I would like to retain a coach, just a few next steps that you can consider, because, I'm all about the action here. So a couple things that you can put into motion as you think about it. Number one, spend some time thinking clearly about what you would want to accomplish with a coach. Remember, I start coaching conversations with, what do you want to focus on? What do you want to talk about? Where do you need support? If you just look at me and say, I don't know, what should I think about? What should I be focusing on? That tells me maybe there's a little bit more time that needs to be invested in thinking clearly about what it is that you want to accomplish. So that's the first one. Number two, think about how much you're willing to invest in yourself if you are going to be personally paying for this coaching. I'll be honest, coaching generally isn't cheap. You get what you pay for. People who leverage coaches are often looking for big results, so it ends up being worth the investment to them. But think about what you're ultimately trying to accomplish. If you're starting a business and a coach would help you become profitable quicker, what's the value for you? If you're looking to unlock what your purpose is in life, how much is that worth to you? How much is a better job, better relationships, better health worth to you? I can't answer that for you. Only you know what that magical number is, but be thinking about it. And if you work for a company or some kind of organization and you're looking for coaching related to your leadership skills or other areas of professional development, I would encourage you to ask if your organization would be willing to pay for it. There are a lot of companies that set aside professional development dollars for each of their employees. And maybe instead of going to a conference or a training program, you could use your dollars for a coach. Taking the initiative to determine what it is that you need to develop in and then articulating that is very important. If I had an employee come to me and say, hey, based on feedback from you and others, and based on some self-reflection I've done, here are the areas I think I need to develop in. And oh, by the way, I've already researched some avenues for how I can develop, and here's my ask for your support. Wow. That's some strong self-leadership right there. And you're not guaranteed that that person's going to say yes. But being able to at least show the initiative that you've done the self-work to identify where you need to grow and develop, and you've looked into possible options, and coaching's not always the right solution, but if you've teed up some options, again, I think that shows a lot of self-leadership. And if you're in the position, if you're the person that that employee is talking to, if you're leading an organization, a department, or a team, think about how coaching could accelerate the performance of people within your area of purview. Remember, there can be huge payoffs in the area of engagement and retention when you provide coaching for your employees. Finally, number 3, do some research and take some time investigating who might be a great coach match for you. There are many different coaches out there with different personalities, different skill sets, different experiences that they draw from. So I would highly encourage you to interview a few coaches before you pick one. And a good coach is going to be trying to determine if you are a good match for them as well. I know my areas of expertise. I know who my ideal client is. I got into coaching because I genuinely want to help people. If I don't feel like I'm a good match for someone, I'll refer them to someone else that I think they'll have a better outcome with. Or I'll let them know if they don't seem truly open or ready for coaching, I'll tell them, because I want my clients to achieve success. I want everyone to achieve success. And there are many coaches out there that hold the same beliefs about prospective coaching clients. So take some time and get to know who's out there in the coaching world and figure out who might be the best match for you. I hope this deep dive into coaching has increased your awareness and understanding of what coaching is and isn't. We all have the power to be great coaches, and coaching is a skill set that can be learned and practiced. So I'll end with a little homework assignment for you. Insert eye rolls. Take a few minutes and educate yourself on coaching skills and try out a few. And if you need help on where to start, I would recommend listening. Cannot go wrong there. This is an area we can all get better in. So even if you can shore up your listening skills, you're already one step closer to becoming a coach too. Oh, and one more assignment. Shine bright, everyone.